What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the WarnerCast. Thank you all for tuning in. I am Josh. This is my co-host, permanent co-host, mind you, Colin.
Hi.
And we have a pretty good show for you guys today. There has been a lot of news to talk about over the past week, surprisingly. Normally just in like the dead void known as summer in hockey. There's nothing to talk about. But this year there's actually like this week anyways, there's been a few stories that I found very interesting. So we have all that to talk about, stuff like Kirill Kaprizov, a ton of signings throughout the week. But I'm going to start off with some more trivia because I really liked doing this last week. So, yeah. So Colin, you're an avid player of the EA NHL series, right?
hmm
I've been to your house before. You have every single game on your shelf,
Yeah.
so I know you're a fan. Well, today I'm going to be testing your knowledge on cover athletes for
Okay. I think
NHL
I should be
games.
pretty good.
Now, I will warn you. I've tried to find the hardest questions possible,
Okay.
and I believe you might be able to get a couple of them. But honestly, if
Oh
I
yeah.
hadn't have looked them up and you had asked me them, I probably would have gotten none of them. So, first question. Who was the cover athlete of NHL '08?
Ah, see, I just started playing the NHL games, I think, around 2014, so I probably won't get any of the ones before that,
Mm-hmm.
but I might be able to. Oh, was it Stamkos?
Unfortunately, no. I do not believe Steven Stamkos was drafted yet in 2008, but I'm not sure. The answer is Eric Stahl of the
Oh yeah.
Carolina Hurricanes
Wasn't getting that.
because he was really good in the
Yeah.
mid 2000s. I'm pretty sure he won a was it him or Cam Ward that won the Conn Smythe in during the 2006 run. I'm gonna look that
Oh.
up right now. Hold on a
Yeah, I
second.
have no clue.
But it was Cam Ward. Cam Ward,
Wow.
notable body nowadays. He's not even playing, but like
Yeah.
he he. It was funny. He didn't even start that playoff run as the goalie for the Hurricanes. He came in after they were 2-0 down in round one, played
Jesus.
phenomenally, got paid,
Yeah.
and then just never was notable again.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
and then he continued to get paid way too much money for very mediocre numbers. And he was also in Chicago for a year.
Oh yeah.
That was
It was.
that was fun. All right, so just to warn you, that is the only question I have here, where it's like, who was the cover athlete of this game? From here, it's
Okay.
all just weird questions. There have been two players in modern day EA NHL history that have been on multiple game covers.
Oh yeah.
And by modern I mean like 2005 and onwards, like post
Yeah.
lockout. Name the two players who have been on the cover multiple times.
Well, one of them was Ovechkin, I'm pretty sure,
That is
because he
correct.
was on. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
The
it was
next
'07
one,
and 21.
yeah, yeah, and then he was on like 2K or something like that, like NHL like 2K.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, hmm, hey, hmm, I don't think. No, it's not. No. Martin Brodeur.
That is incorrect. It's
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Tays.
Oh.
He was on the cover of NHL 10 and NHL 16,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
I don't know if this is remembered, but it was supposed to be him and Patrick Kane on the cover of NHL
Yep.
16, and then
Yep.
Patrick Kane, let's just say, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the allegations ended up being false, but it was reported that he had pulled a bit of a Jake Virtanen situation. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Third question. The NHL EA series has rarely put goaltenders on the cover. As a matter of fact, they have only put one goalie on the cover since after the lockout. Name that goalie.
Martin Brodeur, I think.
Martin Brodeur is correct.
Yeah. I remember that because I was like that was my first NHL game that I played, and I loved it. It was just I just found it like the best.
Yeah, I actually I just got a 360 recently, and
Yeah.
The first game I picked up was NHL 14. Man,
Yeah,
I love
it's
that game.
such a good game.
And
One of the best NHLs of all time, I think.
And there's nothing flashy about it. It
Mm-hmm.
has its flaws. Like Zdeno Chara skates as fast as anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But honestly, it just feels so much more fun to play than the modern
Yeah.
day games. They need to.
And Winter Classic mode, and the big hits that break the glass, those are what makes the game better.
Honestly, we are in 2021. How do we not have a Winter Classic mode?
Yeah.
We have the Canal and all the other outdoor rinks. You can't just program a generic ass stadium with some snow falling down and have a Winter Classic.
Yeah, when we've had it in previous games.
Yeah. Is it because you actually have to develop something new instead of just retread something? Oh dear God. Woe is me. Question number 4. There have been 2 NHL covers with current Toronto Maple Leaf players on them. Name the 2 players that have been on the cover of an NHL game. If you guess this correctly, it's your podcast now.
Okay, Austin Matthews.
Correct, NHL 20.
And you said currently? So they're right now on the Leafs?
Someone who is on the Leafs right now.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I have a couple of guys in mind, I think. One of them is Tavares. Okay. Is it Tavares?
No.
No. I don't think it's Marner. No. Can't be Marner.
Marner's also no.
Oh my God. Is it Jason Spezza?
I do not believe so. I can guarantee it's not Spezza in post lockout. The answer is William Nylander. See.
Oh yeah, he was on the Swedish one.
Yes,
God.
NHL 18, the Swedish edition.
God.
Also, just with the international releases, just some very interesting things I found in research. In Finland, Patrick Laine was on back-to-back covers in both 18 and 19. Not many stars are back-to-back. Elias Pettersson was the guy I think it was 1920 actually for Laine. And Pettersson was on the cover in Sweden in NHL 20. Roman Josi was on a cover in Switzerland in NHL 18. Nino Niederreiter also was on a Swiss cover.
Wow.
I think also if you're looking at some more exclusive releases, I think there was an exclusive release for a couple years in a row where JVR, when he was on the Leafs, was actually on the cover.
Wow.
Very interesting stuff in that department. The final question I have for you, and this is not a post-lockdown cover.
Okay.
I actually forget the full-on answer, so I actually have to search it up.
Okay.
Who is the first NHL player to ever be on the cover of an EA NHL game?
Okay. So the first NHL player to be on a cover.
Yes. In the NHL video game series, produced by EA, if I'm not mistaken. Who was it?
God. I don't think it's
And, and,
Gretzky.
and let me just, it's not Gretzky. And let me just tell
No.
you ahead of time, you're not getting this. You're just not. I don't know why this man is on a cover of a video game.
Was he good?
I, I don't know. I don't know enough about him to say whether he was good or not. Let me look him
Okay,
up.
I'll just say Mario Lemieux.
Now, you'd think for
Uh,
the first NHL game they'd put a star on the cover, like a Mario
yeah,
Lemieux.
yeah.
But they did not. The first man to ever be on the cover of an NHL game was a goaltender by the name of Glenn Healy. back back in 1991, a game called NHL Hockey was released. So no year or anything, just NHL Hockey.
Wow.
And the cover athlete was Glenn Healy.
Hmm.
Glenn Healy has finished his career with a save percentage of 887, with a 3.37 goals against average. The year before he was on the cover, he was playing for. Now it says that on the cover he was an LA guy, but I think Wikipedia is wrong on that one because the season before this game came out, he played for the New York Islanders and had an 894 save percentage. And at that time, when he was put on an NHL game front cover, that was his best career numbers. The seasons before this, he had an 872, an 865, and then he also had a game back in 1986 where he had an 8.929 save percentage in one game.
Well, why? Like, why wouldn't you want to just promote your game to be like having a superstar? Like, why would you want to have?
Wayne Gretzky was just traded to LA the season before this game came out. And apparently the cover is, let me actually check this, of Glenn Healy. It's him in LA, meaning they picked an old photo of him on purpose because he was already gone by that point. If you want to get
Wow.
someone from LA on the cover,
Hmm.
Wayne just got traded there. But
Yeah.
instead, you picked a goalie whose best season, statistically, when you look at save percentage, his best season was one where he played 23 games with the Rangers as a backup and had a 907. 7 years after this game came out. He also played for the Leafs for 3 years, by the way.
Hmm.
He played, let's see, 44 games for them, and his highest save percentage came in the first year where he played 9 games and had an 895.
Hmm. Wow, that's yeah.
Notable NHL cover athlete Glenn Healy, ladies and gentlemen. A career
Yeah,
high jersey.
I don't know why they would want to put him on, to be honest. I don't know why they just didn't put someone good.
They had some weird picks back then.
Hmm.
Like obviously these guys might have been big at the time, but like when we're talking about all-time guys, like I didn't remember who Glenn Healy was. The year
Yeah.
after, Rod Brindamore was on the cover, which is
Okay.
someone I know,
Yeah.
along with Mike Richter, who's someone I've heard of, and then
Yeah.
there's Randy Muller as well, who I don't know.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah.
the reason that happened is because the covers back then were like images of in game. They're not like they are now. So
Hmm.
like it was an image of I think like whoever the players, like all of them there, just on the ice. I think Richter was the goalie and then Muller
Wow.
and Brindamore were the players in action.
Hmm.
So yeah, they made
That's
some
very, very
very
interesting.
very interesting. All right,
Yeah.
so that's it for our trivia portion. You got one question right, which is an
Hmm.
upgrade, I believe.
Yeah.
And
I'm. Yeah.
and next week we're going to be switching things up. And I'm telling you
Okay.
this right now because I want you to have a week to prepare. Next week,
Oh God.
Colin will be preparing trivia questions for I,
Oh.
the self-named master himself. Self-named.
Okay.
So yeah, he's going to be asking me some trivia. You get to pick the theme. You get to pick the questions. Make sure I do not get anything right. Make sure of it.
Okay. Make sure. Okay.
Just try and find the hardest stuff possible.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to move on to the news section of the podcast. And I think the biggest story, in my opinion, anyways, to come out of this past week, when we're talking about news stories that haven't been like talked about before, that aren't just continuations. This isn't in a way a bit of a continuation, but a lot of new stuff has came out this week. Kirill
Yeah.
Kaprizov
Yeah.
and the Minnesota Wild are having a very hard time coming to terms on a contract extension.
Yep.
Over the summer, it's been rumored that the Wild are trying to work out an 8-year deal with Kaprizov, reportedly offering him as much money as $10 million per season over 8 years, which, listen, Kaprizov, his production shows he's worth it, but he's been here for 1 year.
Yeah.
That's a little risky to say so.
Mhm.
But this week it broke from Frank Saravelli that in place, if they cannot get a deal done, if I'm not mistaken, the date's September 1st, there is a 1-year, $10 million deal with Moscow, CSKA Moscow, in the KHL for Kaprizov to go play there. Now, here's the thing. The story doesn't end there because there's been a lot more interesting parts to it. Russian media then came out and said that this is not true. I think I also saw a report somewhere that Kaprizov might be flying out to North America. Marcus Foligno had one hell of a quote in which he said he would go to Siberia if he had to get Kirill Kaprizov and bring him over himself. It's been an interesting week. If the Minnesota Wild lose Kirill Kaprizov after having to bring him over for 5, they drafted him in 2015 and just brought him over in 2021.
Yeah.
You worked all that time. If they can't bring him over, is it the end of their franchise?
Yeah, I mean, like, this was like their first year of being contenders. Everybody was like, whoa. Like, they didn't, like, know what to do because Minnesota's not very good, or they haven't been very good in recent years. So I think if they lose him, I think he, like, pretty much carried the whole team in Minnesota.
Yeah, like he is.
So if they do lose him, that's
that's gonna hurt. He is clearly their best
yeah,
player. He's
obviously.
clearly the bedrock of their plans. He's the reason that they bought out both Zach Parise and Ryan Suter at the same time. The only reason
Yep.
that happened was because they desperately knew they needed to bring back Kirill Kaprizov. If you can't bring him back,
Oh God.
then you've just screwed yourself over for years to come.
Yeah, it was just a pointless pick.
It was you buying people out to buy people out. And
yeah,
like Kaprizov, you know what? He's gonna go and get a bag wherever he goes. Like if he's gonna go to Russia, he's gonna make a ton of money. You know what? Honestly, I'm pretty sure that Moscow and the KHL are one of the better teams. So if he goes there, he's probably gonna have a good shot at winning a championship. Which
that's good for him.
No offense to Minnesota, but I don't think that they're there. They're still weak down the middle. Marco Rossi might change that, but they are a bit weak down the middle still. But and then like just the conflicting information. I think it's too early to say definitively he's not going to be there. Personally, I think we're going to end up seeing him get Patrick Laine in a way, where it's just going to be he's never going to be certain in his future somewhere. It's just going to be 1 year deal, 1 year deal, 2-year deal, 1-year deal, just for the rest of his career. I could really see that being a possibility for Kirill. And I also think that, you know, if they're able to get Kirill back, I think they do have some potential because, like, the core they built up there is is really good. It's like Joel Eriksson Ek is one of my favorite guys in the league. He just signed an 8-year deal. I think that that's going to pay off for them at the end. They have a nice core of surrounding guys. Zuccarello played great. Jordan Greenway. Like, if Kirill's not there, they're just gonna like. I don't think that they make the playoffs this year, but
no.
At the same time, there's enough good players there where, like, if Kirill's not there, I think that they're like probably an 80-point team still.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe like 83 points.
If
If we're talking like not outside of the wild card spot, but like if you worked a little bit harder, you could probably get in there if you had a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's just losing Kirill is a death blow to the Wild.
Like, and because, like, no one else on that team other than, like, Zuccarello or, like, Dumba can, like, carry that young core or lead that young core to a playoff spot. Kirill is their guy to do that. But if they lose him, they have a bunch of young players that are just kind of there.
Mm-hmm. And so it is going to be interesting to see where this story goes. I hope for the sake of the Minnesota Wild that Kirill Kaprizov does come back. And honestly, for my own enjoyment, I hope he comes back because the one thing that was weird about this season is that you didn't see every team play every team. You just saw one division. So, like, for me, even while I tried to cover everyone, I could tell that I was focusing in on talking about the North Division.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see Kirill Kaprizov play until the playoffs. So I'd love to see him torch the Oilers, scoring a goal per game while we go through their defenders who all just stand there if they don't have the puck on their stick. So, yeah, like, for their sake, I hope he comes back. Is that a child screaming in the background?
Yeah, I have my brothers.
Oh man, okay, that's fun.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think the last time we recorded, they were already asleep. So
yes.
Yeah, that's why you hear them this time and last time you didn't.
Yeah.
Continuing on, talking about more hockey stuff, news wise. The Toronto Maple Leafs Amazon documentary, All or Nothing, is scheduled to be released, all 5 episodes of it, on October 1st.
Yep.
Me being someone that does not really give a damn about the Toronto Maple Leafs, unless it means I can get views off of their pain, in which case, yes, please. I did not watch this trailer. Are you going to watch this? Are you going to watch this documentary?
Well, I have an Amazon Fire Stick, so I already have, like, Amazon, like, whatever, so I might watch it.
Well, if you're able to, I think it is worth watching, because...
Yeah. I just think the title should have been, if they just put one more letter, All for Nothing, that would have been such a better title, and it just would have been so much better.
The worst case scenario for this documentary would be if, like, imagine they just, like, don't address the playoffs. Like, imagine if they just sit there.
Oh my god.
And they show the Leafs losing, and then they have, like, a fourth liner come on there and be like, it's just a growing experience. We gotta learn, and we're getting stronger. Imagine if they do that after watching everything that's happened. Like,
no.
I hope, in a way, like, I want to see from this docuseries, like, everyone gives Matthews and Marner and, like, the Stars so much shit for being too soft and, like, you know, not caring. The way you change that is if Austin Matthews comes on and he does a little talking segment on this, and he just says, we had this series. We had it, and we blew it. We need to be better. We need to find a way. We need to get over this. We're not any better than we were last year. Like, if they just treat it as, oh, well, lol, See you next year. Hopefully we do better. People are gonna
Yeah, that would be.
people are gonna hate it.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Oh my god.
I saw this. They were talking about it on the Steve Dangle podcast, and
Yep.
Steve Dangle suggested that they go through the season, show some good moments throughout the regular season, and then they kind of just briefly go over the playoffs, and then just invest the rest of the show into what next year might be. Like, just show some of the new
Yeah.
guys they brought in. I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to do that because,
Yeah.
that just doesn't feel like something nice. And the Leafs don't deserve nice things. So it's not going to happen that way. But I may watch the series. I don't have Amazon, so I might illegally stream it. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that live. Not live.
Oh, whoops.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Whoops. Hopefully they aren't able to track my IP address. That'd not be convenient. All right. Now moving on into just a flurry of news. We won't really talk long about this stuff. A ton of contracts have been signed over the past while. Sam Reinhart signs a 3-year deal worth $6.5 million per year. Your thoughts with Florida?
I think that's a good deal for them. Like Sam Reinhart, I think he's worth 7.5, maybe even 8. And they got him for like 6 point. You said 6.2. I think 6.5. That's a good contract, I think,
considering
for
the
them.
fact that he was the only player on the Buffalo Sabres who could be classified as good last year. The fact he was able to do things on a team that was famous for not being able to do anything. Good.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's why he got paid. I think it's also like the same thing that kind of happened with like Linus Ullmark. Like Ullmark's good, but you know for damn sure if he puts up the numbers that he did on a team like Carolina, he's probably only getting like 4, 3.5, maybe even less.
Yeah.
There's no way he's getting 5 for 4
Yeah.
years. He got paid because he just stood on his head. Like,
yeah, in Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Craig Anderson at 40 years old can do the same thing this year. Or Aaron Dell.
Oh yeah, or Aaron Dell. Yeah.
2 notable starting goaltenders in the NHL at this current moment. Neil Pionk signs a 4-year deal with the Winnipeg Jets. Actually, I think it was a arbiter. They went through arbitration. 4 years at $5.875 per year. I think it's a good deal. Neil Pionk is a very good player. He's also a bit of a pest. And he was very good against Edmonton in the sweep. Your thoughts?
I think they paid a little bit too much. I think they could have went with like a 4x4, but it's whatever. He's a good player.
Yeah, and the other thing we should note is that for Winnipeg, they're gonna have to pay players more to be in Winnipeg. I think it was Robin Leonard was doing a Twitter Q&A, which the quotables from Robin Leonard this week.
It was it was bad.
We'll have to talk. We'll talk about that as well. But I think he mentioned the 3 worst places to play amongst the league. Buffalo, because if you're hurt, you play. We learned that from Leonard as well in a very in much more detail than we had before. Edmonton and Winnipeg are the bottom 3 teams in the league that players like to play for. I don't like that. Like, you're a bad organization when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and people still do not want to come to your team to play hockey.
Yeah. Honestly, I was surprised Toronto wasn't up there because like the media like even like Phil Kessel, like I know it was a while ago, but the media to Phil Kessel was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and just like the media is just so bad in Toronto. Like,
it is honestly like if I was a hockey player, if I had any hockey talent at all, which I don't, I don't even know how to say it. If I had any talent at all, I would probably want to play for a team like, I don't know, Nashville, because I feel like you don't ever hear any stories about the media pestering you in Nashville, like maybe Arizona as well, like somewhere where it's just tumbleweeds are your friends.
Yeah. Or even like a team like Florida. Florida wouldn't be a bad team. They're good now.
Yeah. To be fair, you also don't have you don't have fans there though. I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's the same in Arizona as well. You just
Yeah, but
it's funny.
oh well.
Some sport arenas put up like the cardboard cutouts. While fans weren't there, Florida just kept them up.
Yeah.
Florida just put them up and kept them up.
Yep.
Hey, people! I knew it was oddly suspicious when they had that many people
Mm-hmm.
during that series in
Yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Moving on, Jacob Verana signs a 3-year deal, 5.25 with Detroit, again through arbitration. If he can hold up point per game pace, this is a steal. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah. He's not going to hold up point per game pace. So I think they overpaid. I think if he
Really?
got paid, I think they did. I think he should have got paid like in between 4.5 to 5. Like I feel like that would have been a good balance for him, but I don't think he'll keep up a point per game pace. I think
I
he'd get like 70 or 60 in between there. So
I think for Detroit it's okay for them to pay him a little bit more just because they're
yeah.
probably not going to be ready until 3 years from now.
Yep.
Verana's only 24. There's still a lot of potential for him to be great.
Oh
And
yeah.
honestly, you pay for a third year to him, you pay that extra little bit of money. So
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's a good deal personally.
Mhm.
Um,
But like even like when he's like older, he will be a point per game, but just like not right now. Like in like 3 years and like the 4 years, he will be a point per game. But just like right now and like next year, I don't think he's quite there yet at that level.
just yeah, just a little bit more to his game could definitely push him over the top.
Yep.
On a team like Detroit, where like I think Detroit are actually going to be a little bit better than people are saying this year. Um,
Really might.
like I don't think that they're going to make playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but like they're definitely not finishing last in the Atlantic. Oops, spoilers.
Yeah.
But I think that they have the potential to be like a 75-point team, which is better than they've been
Hmm.
on pace for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Um, just doing a quick little scroll through goalies. We have 3 goalies, all in the Metropolitan Division, who've signed extensions this week. Ilya Samsonov signs a 1-year deal worth $2 million with the Capitals. I think that that's a
Hmm.
great contract.
Yeah. I like
Um,
that.
decent runs over the past couple of years, but inconsistent is a word you can
Hmm.
use. 1-year deal. We'll see where that goes. Um, Igor Shesterkin, 4-year deal, 4 years, under $6 million with the Rangers. I'm still apprehensive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind it, but I am still apprehensive
Yeah.
as to how that will pay off for them. And
Hmm.
Carter Hart signs a 3-year deal worth about $4 million per year. I
Yeah.
like Carter Hart. I think he has potential. He was
Oh,
one of
same.
he was one of the worst goaltenders in the league last year,
Yeah.
and you paid him more than Detroit paid Alex Nedeljkovic. No,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 3 years. If like I said, I think Carter Hart can be good, but I would have rather went a little shorter term with him.
Yeah. Like one.
Yeah. Um, and other than that, there's a couple other guys here. Maxime Kumtwa signed a 2-year deal, only about like 2.5, I think it is. Very underrated. Very good contract for him, in
Yep.
my opinion. And playoff hero, Ross Colton, the Stanley Cup winner. He buried that goal past Carey Price in the Stanley Cup Finals, and he got paid, I think it was 1.5-ish range for 2 years. Um, Tampa Bay, they do it again. It's official. They get everyone back on team. That like they have a full team for next year, and they still have $20,000 left before they go over the cap. The Mad
Yeah.
Bastards have done it again. they they know all they need to do is invest into LTIR, like it's cryptocurrency, and they're gonna be fine. They're just gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Moving on to a UFA signing a contract, and I'm sure you've already heard of this. Former
Mm-hmm.
Leafs legend Joe Thornton has signed a 1-year deal to go retirement home browsing in Florida. He is going to see which retirement home will best suit him and his needs, and also to play hockey. Also to play
Mm-hmm.
hockey. Um, as a Leafs fan who watched Joe Thornton play, what does he have left in the tank for Florida?
Uh, okay, I got a couple of things to say. So, him and Wayne Simmons played so good when they were playing with good players. Like Joe Thornton, yeah, he was a little slow with Martin Matthews, but he played good. Like, he actually played good for at least when he was on that first line. And then we put him on our third line, and that's where it just kind of just went down for him.
As your camera just did.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. And then he was on our power play in the playoffs. Joe Thornton is one of the best passers of all time, but he's like end of his career, and you can't be put him on the power play. Like, yeah, he's a good passer, but not on the power play in the playoffs. Yeah, so
Actually,
I think it's not bad.
he was one of your team's best offensive players in the playoffs, though, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
that was a good line. I think it was Simmons, Spezza, and Thornton. I think,
AKA the Walker's
or no,
required line.
yeah, or no, I think it was like Adam Brooks, and then Wayne Simmons was on a different line. I think. Yeah, I think Brooks was on that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Florida's getting is a veteran who is
Mm-hmm.
clearly trying to do whatever it takes to win a Stanley Cup.
Uh-huh. And if he plays more than half the games in the season, I'll be very surprised. Because I think Joe Thornton is kind of like a rotational guy where you
Yeah,
put in every once in a while.
he is.
I don't think he can be an everyday player.
He cannot be an everyday player. I think last year with Toronto, it kind of proved it that if you're
Yeah.
banking on him being a guy that plays every day, you're probably not going to. You probably do not have enough to win a cup.
Yep.
Florida, I don't think will play him every day. I think he will just be a depth piece. And
They better not.
as a depth piece, he's pretty good. That being
Yeah.
said, I do really hope he plays the inevitable Game 7 between the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs, and scores the overtime winner. Because, LOL,
Yeah.
sucks to be
Why?
a Leafs
Why
fan.
not?
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'll be honest, it might be sadistic, but something I do when I have free time is just think over the most painful ways the Toronto Maple Leafs could lose a 7-game playoff series. Um, I've thought of a Toronto. One of the ideas I really like is a Toronto Carolina series that goes to
Hmm.
7, and then the Leafs blow a lead in the third period of Game 7, and in overtime, Austin Matthews gets stopped by Frederik Andersen before prospect Seth Jarvis, who Carolina picked with the Patrick Marleau pick, goes down to the other end and scores. That's something I've thought of.
Or even just like Jake Gardiner scores like 3 goals. Like we just blew 3-0 lead. Jake Gardiner gets 4 goals.
Jake Gardiner with the incredible block and then scores the
Yeah.
overtime winner. Oh man, there's so I cannot wait to see how painful this season is for the
Mm-hmm.
Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's
I don't think they got good enough to to do a lot.
yeah. They're just
Also on the docket, um, some quotes from Jaromir Jagr that have came out. The legend himself.
yep.
Reportedly, he from the comments, it seems like this is a man who wants to retire, but he can't because the sponsors of his team over in the Czech would leave. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
do understand he's 50. That being said, is it bad that I still think that he would be an improvement over like a good amount of my own team's players? It is
That's definitely that's
like I would much rather have Yarmir Jagr than Zach Cassian.
Yeah.
Jaromir Jagr's been playing good. Like,
Yeah. He is a legend. He,
yeah,
even when he wasn't playing hockey, like, his hairstyles were just enough to make him a legend.
like a man of that age has no right to still be scoring,
Oh, no.
let alone like playing hockey to begin with.
Yeah. Competitively.
Yeah, like he's been playing for 30 seasons. Wait, hold on, I'm
Oh.
wrong on that. His first season was the 1984-85 season, and he's going in to the 2021-22 season. And last year,
He,
he's really good. He played 19 games and had 12 points last year in a men's league. this light The world is stupid. The world is
yeah.
really. He weighs 254 pounds now, by the way. Just no offense to the man. I think he's a little bit more out of shape than he used to be, though.
Yeah. When he started playing hockey, that's, I think, was when my mom was born, or it was like the year my mom was born, like the year before,
Mm-hmm.
which is just,
All right,
yeah.
it is time to do some Eastern Conference predictions. Now, just for everyone at home wondering how our predictions are going to work this year, pretty simple. This is not our official predictions. These are our way too early predictions. There's still a few more dominoes that need to fall.
Yep.
There's a couple players who, I think if a player gets traded to a certain team, I think that could,
Eichel,
yeah, like Eichel, for example, if he got traded, it,
Minnesota.
yep, it could impact teams. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
week we're doing way too early Eastern Conference predictions. Next week we're doing it in the West, and then our final show before the start of the regular season, we will be doing a gigantic predictions episode where we'll talk about the East, the West, awards, and playoff bracket. We're gonna do all that then. But for now, we're just gonna do some divisional predictions. We're
Yep.
going to start with the Metropolitan Division. And Colin,
Okay.
I'm going to let you go first. Who do you think
Okay.
will be the eighth team? We're
Huh?
going
The
8
eighth
through
team?
1. 8 through 1.
It's gonna be Columbus.
Columbus.
It's gonna be Columbus.
Reasoning.
They they just suck.
We're analysts. We need to explain these things.
They have a couple of good players. Other than that, they don't have much. They're just in a rebuild.
Mhm.
That they're not gonna be finished. They might finish seventh or something like that, but they're finishing. I have them last.
All right. Who is your number 7 in the Metro?
Number 7.
This is where it gets a little tough, at least for me,
Yep.
because there's a lot of good players.
God. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the Rangers. I was gonna go New Jersey, but I think New Jersey had a really good offseason with Dougie Hamilton, Tatar. So I think that's gonna help them a lot. So I think they're gonna get. I think New Jersey is gonna be 7th.
There are a lot of people out there that have the New York Rangers in the playoffs, and why do you disagree?
I just don't feel like their defensive core is there yet. Like their offense is really well built. It was like Panarin, Lafreniere, Capocacco.
Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, Ryan Reeves. On their defense, they don't have much good defensive guys. Like they have Adam Fox, Truba, and I don't know any other defensemen on their team. So
All right.
yeah,
Who do you have at number 6?
number 6. Okay, number 6 is gonna be the. I'm gonna go with The New Jersey Devils.
The New Jersey Devils.
Yep.
You said they got better, but
Yep.
you don't think they got good enough yet.
Mm-hmm. Like they might be able to have, because I have Carolina at the next spot, so they might be able to be better than Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay. So Carolina at 5. Continue saying anything you want to about New Jersey before moving on.
Nothing really. Or actually, no, wait. I'm gonna have Philly at the next spot.
Okay. You're now see, folks. I would just like to point something out. Just no notice to him. I understand he's a busy man, but I would just like to point this out. I messaged him 2 days ago saying, "Hey, we are doing Eastern Conference predictions on podcast day. Have some ready." And currently, what Colin is doing is he has a cell phone in his hand.
Yeah, because I don't know the division, so I have the...
And he is looking at the teams, and he is doing this on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing this all as we record. I have my teams neatly written out on the spreadsheet, tracking our predictions, and I'm filling his in as we go, which I expected to do. However, I thought he might have had an idea going in.
Mm-hmm.
So to recap, because this might be a confusing mess at this point.
Yeah,
Columbus
probably.
is your number 8, the Rangers are your number 7, and the Devils are your number 6. And you've explained your reasoning for all those. Who is your number 5 in the division?
Number 5. Number 5. God. Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Reasoning.
Carter Hart needs to be better. He will be better than last season. He just has to be like a lot better.
You're not gonna put faith in the Carter Hart and Martin Jones goaltending tandem?
No.
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 All right. Who is your number 4 team?
Oh, okay.
And also one more thing I forgot to mention here. We're also predicting wild cards during this one. So obviously the top 3 teams in each division will make it, but then you pick out of whoever's left who you think will be the best. So if you think there'll be 2 teams from the Metro, say that. If you want, we can wait till after and then you can pick them.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it on the fly. I haven't picked them either, but we will.
So I'm at 4 right now. I'm at 4.
Yeah, you're at your number 4.
Okay. Penguins.
The Penguins.
Yeah.
Your reasoning.
They're getting too old. I almost had Philly over them, but like Crosby is just very good.
He's Crosby.
And yeah. And he can play very well with less players on that team.
All right.
So.
Who is your number 3? And I will just point out, because you're looking at this on your phone, the teams you have yet to rank: Washington, Carolina, and the New York Islanders.
Yep. Number 3, Washington.
The Washington Capitals. Your explanation.
I didn't watch them at all last year, but in the playoffs, they didn't play good. Like, I thought they were going to win that series, and they just didn't. So, and I just think Carolina and New Jersey, or the Islanders are just better.
Mm-hmm. All right. Who, just because when you say number 2, it's obvious who your number 1 is. Who do you think wins the Metropolitan Division? Who do you think's better between the Islanders and the Hurricanes?
I have the Islanders.
You have the New York Islanders. I feel like your explanation is clear cut.
They just have surprised me so much. Like, just forever. Like, in the playoffs and, like, even, like, the regular season, like, they've been so good. So, yeah.
And you have Carolina number 2.
Yep.
Explain.
They just they missed the second round last year, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like they also very much surprised me last year, and I did not think they're going to be that well. I thought they were going to be first round exits, and they just weren't. So,
All right.
yeah.
It is now my turn to get my hands on
Yep.
this Metropolitan Division, and our starts are actually pretty similar because at number 8 I have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
There is no other team that can finish last, and it's not a slight to them, but they are going through the rebuild now. They
Yep.
are. We thought that they were doing this back when in 2019 when they lost Panarin, Bobrovsky, and Duchesne.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out with Tortorella, with some of the pieces that they still had intact, they had a bit more left in the tank when it came to a run. And you know
Mm-hmm.
they did pretty well for a couple years, but now
Mm-hmm.
it was clearly the writing was on the wall. It was time
Yeah.
to retool the team. You trade away Seth Jones, you get that good deal. I think Adam Boqvist is going to be good for them.
Yep.
They have some good pieces still remaining. I wonder if we can see Jacob Voracek kind of get a bit
Mm-hmm.
more invigorated. Maybe he plays well. Maybe then he'll get flipped at the deadline or something. But while I do think there's a possibility they could be higher, depending on how good of a coach Brad Larson is, I think it does kind of come down
Mm-hmm.
to that. If he can help
Yeah.
get this team back on track from the derailing that happened last year, will be seen over time. But I think that they
Mm-hmm.
are the safest bet for number 8. At number 7, I also have the New York Rangers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they got a little better. I don't remember who they got. They got Patrick Nemeth on the blue line. So I
Uh-huh.
feel like they are a bit better than they were last year, but not a ton.
And they
Um,
got Sammy. I guess name is Sammy Blaze from St. Louis.
which leads me into some of their moves at the forward end. I don't like everything they did. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't. Like Barclay Goodrow is solid. They're paying him a bit too much money. I think
Uh-huh.
6 years is a little bit long. Um, Sammy Blay is cool, but like you gave up Pavel Buchnevich to get him. Like
Yeah.
you're really banking on Alexis Lafreniere being really good. Picking up Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Reeves is you just openly admitting that Tom Wilson haunts your nightmares, and it doesn't show anything else.
Yeah.
I don't think that this team is good enough to take that next step yet. I think that they will be good enough to do that when they get another bona fide top 4 defenseman. And
Yep.
when they can get. Now, when you look at their scoring depth, a lot of their scoring depth is just like big physical guys. And I think that they still need some more depth that can put the puck in the back of the net. I feel like that's been a quieter flaw of them over the past
Yeah.
couple of years. And I feel like it's still a flaw now. So if they can address that, I think that they will be a lot better. But right now, I can't justify having them higher than number 7.
Yep.
At number 6, I have a. This is controversial.
Okay.
I have the Washington Capitals. I
Oh.
do not like what the Washington Capitals did this offseason. Trading away
Okay.
Brendan Dillon is a bad move because he is arguably their best actual defender.
Yeah.
Their goaltending did not improve from last year, which it wasn't really the biggest problem, but it still didn't.
Yep.
And when I look at that forward core, kind of like with the Penguins with what your argument was, I see a
Yeah.
team that has gotten 1 year older. I see an Ovi, and I think he's like 35 now.
Yep.
Backstrom's like 34. This is an older group.
Yep.
And I feel like for me, I've predicted Washington would not do well last year. I was a little bit wrong. I was a lot wrong in that, actually. I think they finished second. Um, but this is just actually no, they won the division if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wrong in that, but then the playoffs, that's where everything kind of just got aired out for them. I feel like eventually they're gonna have that year where they take that step back, and I think it's gonna happen this year, and I'm not gonna be surprised if it does happen this year.
Okay.
At number 5 in the division, I have the New Jersey Devils. I really am a fan of what the Devils did this offseason. I think a lot of people still do underrate the Devils just because last year
Yeah.
they didn't do that well. But when you look at what their problems were last year, I think that they addressed them in a very good way. Getting that defensive help in Dougie Hamilton, and not to mention Ryan Graves, who was a very quiet pickup. That defense looks very good. Even if PK Subban doesn't bounce back, that defense looks very, very good. And the goaltending looks a lot better now with Blackwood having Jonathan Bernier to be in a tandem with. I think that they have potential to even do better than number 5, but I think that they're going to be a surprise team. And, I look at the teams that I have in these wild card possibility spots. I don't know if you can count them out for being a playoff team. I think that I wouldn't be shocked if they made it. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be shocked. At number 4, I have the Carolina Hurricanes. They did not get better. They lost a lot this offseason. They lost Alex Nedeljkovic. They lost Dougie Hamilton, arguably, if not one of, arguably the best defenseman in the game.
Yeah.
That is not easy. At least when you look at analytics, he's the best.
Yeah.
That is not easy to recover from. Especially when you patch the wounds with Frederik Andersen, Antti Raanta,
and Tony DeAngelo.
Ethan Bear is a good pickup, to be fair. I'm just saying this. Interesting to see them not only go with a player in Ethan Bear who's been credited with some of his actions, somebody who actually got a lot of hate in Edmonton just because of his skin color. Him be on the same team with Tony DeAngelo is interesting, to say the least. Interesting dynamic. But yeah, Carolina, I don't think that they got better. I still think that forward core is pretty good, but I just do not like their moves a lot, so I think they take a step back.
Yeah.
At number 3, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
I know they're getting older.
Yep.
But there's one thing I've learned about the Pittsburgh Penguins. They do not die.
Yep.
They don't. They just don't. They always have a slow start, and then after they have that slow start, everyone on the team gets hurt, and then their AHL team, just the entire thing, gets called up, and then they go on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much happened last year.
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Penguins, I really still like the team that they have. I like Brock McGinn. It's a bit of a pricey contract, 4 years, 2.75, but I still don't mind it. I think they did make a couple moves this offseason that I liked. Losing Jared McCann does suck, but you were going to lose him anyways, so picking up a guy in Philip Hollander, I don't think he'd play, but he is a prospect in a system that doesn't have a lot. I understand the move.
Yeah.
I think that Pittsburgh has another run in them, and if they don't get off to a good start this season, one thing Pittsburgh's really good at doing is being really bad and then saying, head coach, get out of here, bringing in a new guy, and then winning the Stanley Cup. They've done that twice before, in 2009 and 2016. And so I think that the Pittsburgh Penguins have enough juice in them to be able to at least guarantee that they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have the New York Islanders. They are a great team. They have a great structure, and I think that they are a lock for the playoffs in every sense. The only reason I do not think that they win this division, as Colin takes the headphones off, the only reason I do not think that they win this division, and actually, okay, he's doing his own thing right now. I do not think that they take a win. I do not think that they win the division this offseason. It's just simply because I think that they are a bit of a tired team, Like I said, I really do like the New York Islanders core. I think that they are going to be good enough to definitely make the playoffs. But I do think that they are a tad bit tired, and that might cause them to just take a minor step back during the regular season. So I have the New York Islanders finishing second, just a little bit out of fatigue.
Mm.
Which leads me to my tops of the division. I forgot to do what I told Colin to do, and which is say my top team, then my second team. My
Uh-oh.
top team in the division is the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh.
This will not be popular. However, despite the Rasmus Ristolainen trade, I think the Flyers really did get better this offseason.
Yeah.
Ryan Ellis is a good player. They
Yep.
picked up some other good depth pieces as well. But the main reason I am putting them here is for the sake of a meme. The Philadelphia Flyers, over the past decade, have had the weirdest pattern I've ever seen. They are the San Francisco Giants of the NHL. They will suck for a year, and then the next year they will do well. 2017, they sucked and didn't make the playoffs. 2018, they made the playoffs, lost in round 1 to Pittsburgh. 2019, they sucked, had a down year, didn't make the playoffs. 2020, they made the playoffs, lost in the second round to the Islanders. Last year, they sucked, had a really bad year. This year, they're going to make the playoffs. I think Carter Hart bounces back. I know I ragged on the contract a little bit earlier. That doesn't think I don't think he's going to be good. I think Martin Jones is not going to be good, but I think he will be better than he was in San Jose. Just getting a change, being on a 1-year contract, being on a contract with less money, I think that's going to help his psyche a little bit. Like I said, I think the defense got a lot better. I think the forward core is the forward core. I'm interested to see how Cam Atkinson fits into that picture now instead of Voracek. The Flyers were a really busy team this offseason, and I'm interested to see how their moves pay off, and I think that they do have the potential to be the top team in this division. So there are our Metropolitan predictions, and now we are moving on to the Atlantic Division, as long as Colin does not need to go somewhere.
Yeah, my mom called me.
Okay. And everything's good?
Yep.
All right. Colin, your turn with your Atlantic Division predictions. I can bet $1 million I know exactly who you think is going to be last in the Atlantic Division.
The Buffalo Sabres.
Do you mind if I explain this one for you?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Craig Anderson and Aaron Dell is the goaltending tandem. Okay, moving on to your number 7.
That was my reasoning. I'm gonna have the Detroit Red Wings at number 7.
All right. Reasoning?
They're just better teams. I was gonna Ottawa is the best out of the worst 3 teams. So
the best of the worst.
Yeah.
So you don't think they took enough of a step forward?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 6. You alluded to it, I think.
Oh. Yeah. I want to go Montreal. Not because I'm a Leafs fan.
You're an angry, mad Leafs fan filled with venom and rage.
I just think because Ottawa is good, but they got rid of Evgeny Datinov, who was an elite goal scorer for them. So I'm going to go with Ottawa.
All right. That was good reasoning as well. You explained that pretty well. Your number 5 team.
I'm going to go with the Montreal Canadiens.
Ooh. Watch out. I hope you have your social medias private, because if not, the Montreal Canadiens fan base, when they hear this, are going to stampede towards you like we're at a rodeo. And they are just going to... Pardon?
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, your reasonings as to why Montreal is only 5th.
There are better teams like Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Florida. Those are just better than Montreal. I know in the playoffs they weren't, but this is regular season standings. And I'm pretty sure all of these teams finished ahead of them in standings for anything. First for the standings, so they're just 5th. They have a good team. Very physical. Very good defense. Price, regular season is not very good.
Mhm.
He's good, but like,
Just him in the regular season is not as good as him in the playoffs.
yeah,
You're not getting
yeah.
the same. Okay, who is your number 4?
My number 4.
Your options are Florida, Tampa, Toronto, and Boston.
Hard. God. Okay, I'm gonna go Florida.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but that's the first one where I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
yeah.
So tell me why you think the Florida Panthers, who were better than Tampa last year in the regular season, better than the Hurt. Nope, they weren't as good as the Hurricanes, but they were better than Tampa, better than teams like Nashville and Dallas. Tell me why you think Florida is number 4.
Um, I think Boston got really, really good during the offseason. I was gonna say Boston, but I was like their goaltending got really good. Bringing Hall back, Nick Foligno, those are very good. I think, and that probably was biased to be honest. Like, because I'm a Leafs fan, I probably should have had the Leafs there, but like,
You, you,
no.
you're going with Florida there.
Yeah,
All right.
probably should have went with the Leafs, but oh well.
Who's your number 3?
The Leafs.
The Leafs. The Leafs! Tell me why you think the Toronto Maple Leafs will not win the President's Trophy, the Stanley Cup, the NBA Championship, the World Series, the Super Bowl, and anything, and like, what, oh god, I was trying to think of, like, Champions of the Universe. Tell me why the Toronto Maple Leafs, after getting their Amazon miniseries, are not going to be world beaters.
Um, it, it's. I mean, like, it's literally just the Leafs. That just should be simple enough.
But they won their division last year. I mean,
They did.
yeah.
I could have them in front of Boston, but Boston had. I feel like they had such a good offseason, and they did everything that they needed to do, or did most things. So,
So I assume I know who your number 2 is from your
yep.
terminology.
My number 2 is going to be the Boston Bruins.
Oh, you want to see Boston
No,
Toronto
no, no,
again?
no,
You
no,
know,
no, no.
you need
I
the
don't. I
egotistical
don't.
Leafs
I
fan
do
to think
not.
they're gonna win this time, don't you?
Nope, nope.
All right,
Okay, and then
you
number 1 is Tampa.
yeah. So you already explained yourself for Boston. You thought they had a really good off season.
Yep.
Tampa again. I feel like Tampa's an obvious one, right? Like
Yeah, like,
they're good.
I probably could have the Leafs at 4 and Tampa at, or like the Florida at 3, but like,
Two
I'm a Leafs
boys,
fan,
Toronto,
so
Boston.
yeah, but like I'm a Leafs fan, so I'm gonna have them in top 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
my list looks a lot different from yours. It
Okay.
actually it doesn't look a ton different, but it does look a bit different. At
Okay.
number 8, for all the obvious reasons, it's the Buffalo Sabres. I feel like you would have like kicked me off my own podcast if the Buffalo Sabres weren't 8th. They are
Something like that.
they are a dumpster fire. They
Yeah.
are like the the Cleveland Browns are weeping at how glorious of a failure the Buffalo Sabres are. The Buffalo Sabres actually have the potential to go 0-82 this year. If we are ever going to see a team do it, it's going to be this Buffalo team, especially
Yeah.
when they lose Jack Eichel. And the best part of that
Yeah.
is they're going to finish last, and they're still going to lose both lottery spots and fall to 3rd. Because screw you, Buffalo. Nice things are not meant for you. They're going to go
Yep.
from getting Shane Wright to Brad Lambert, and then the same
Yep.
thing's going to happen next year, the year after. They're not going to get Connor Bedard. They're going to get,
Yep.
like, random Finnish guy. Again, it's...
NHL 22 creative player.
Yes. So the Buffalo Sabres are going to be my worst team. I also agree with you on who you have at number 7. I have the Detroit Red Wings. They
Mhm.
got better, and I think they do have the potential to maybe squeak up a little bit as well. As I said, I think they have 75-point potential. I think that, however, they just do not have enough gas on defense yet. I think Moritz Seider's going to change that. He's a really good prospect coming over from the SHL. He won there. I think he was top. I don't know if he won it, but I know he was top 3 in their best defenseman over there. So
That's good.
I think he has a lot of potential to come over, be a world beater. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I have them at number 7. Number 6, I have the Stanley Cup finalists Montreal Canadiens. I
Okay.
think that people are not talking enough about how bad of an offseason they had.
Yeah.
Losing Shea Weber is
Oh
going to hurt
yeah,
them.
I totally forgot about that.
They replaced him with David Savard, but I don't think that
Mhm.
there's enough there. They lost Philip Deneau, did not replace him. They lost Thomas
Mhm.
Tatar, replaced him with Mike Hoffman, who is still good at scoring goals, but that's about all he does these days.
Yeah.
I think they got worse,
Mhm.
and I think maybe Suzuki stepping up and getting better even more than he is could compensate for that. I think Caulfield's going to
Yeah.
be a lot better. Um, I think Kotkaniemi could even be in store for a breakout year. But
Yep.
as of right now, I the team in front of them I feel is a lot better, and the team in front of them at number 5 is the Ottawa Senators.
Mhm.
I like this Ottawa team. It's a really likable team, and I think that that might be playing effect as to why I have them here. I disagree with you on what Evgeny Dadonov means for the team, because I don't really think that losing Evgeny Dadonov is going to hurt them that much. Dadonov
Okay.
had a statistically down year for them. Uh,
Yeah.
I think he was 32, and he
Mhm.
was making a lot of money. He goes
Yeah.
off to Vegas, and they bring back Nick Holden, who in a third pair role has proven to be effective.
Yeah.
Their forward core is a who's who of good players, and they're just keep adding to it with their prospects. I think their defense is going to be a lot better this year. I think that Shabbat's going to be another year into his development. I know DJ Smith doesn't like Eric Brandstrom, but I think that he's going to be forced to play him, and he'll realize, oh, this guy's pretty good, and he'll play him
Yeah.
more. The one question mark I have about him is goaltending, and I think that this could really be what makes this wrong.
Mhm.
I have faith that Matt Murray can bounce back, not even to like his old form,
Same.
but to good enough form to where he's a usable
Mhm.
NHL goalie. And if it's
Mhm.
not him, they have Anton Forsberg, notable former Oiler for all of 5 minutes before we put him on waivers, um, who who can be who's actually played pretty good for them, and Philip Gustafsson, 22-year-old prospect who played good in his appearances with the team as well. I think that there is potential for them to be good. At number 4, I'm gonna piss you off intentionally and then put the Toronto Maple Leafs at number 4. I don't even think they're a
Okay.
top 3 team in the division. Losing Zach Hyman's gonna hurt. I think even though like he didn't play the best for them in the final stretch of the year, losing Joe Thornton's
Mhm.
presence hurts. Um,
Ah.
and the thing with me for them is not even that I think they got explicitly worse, because I think like Nick Ritchie, Andre Kashe, David Kampf, like the depth guys they picked up are good. I think that Peter
Yep.
Mrazek's a good goalie as well. It's for me, it's not that I think they got worse. It's just that they were a team that I think needed to find another piece to make a bigger improvement. And when you have some of the teams that are in this division, it's going to
Mhm.
be hard to win. And so I think that Toronto manages to get fourth, and that's the unfortunate thing. But the good news is that there will not be a Toronto Boston playoff matchup. Do not worry, poor Leafs
Ooh.
fan. You will
And
not.
I just got a Sportsnet notification, and it said Austin Matthews when he undergo a successful wrist surgery, which is
Oh
very good.
yes, he had that wrist issue during the season. Good to see
Mm-hmm.
he got that worked out.
Yep.
I will
Thank
go do
God.
a quick check to
I just
see.
got like a notification on Sportsnet.
Which, by the way, never forget that Austin Matthews won the Richard with a screwed up wrist. And
Yeah.
I'm looking for the article right now. I can't find it off the bat. Let's go Leafs. Maybe it'll pop up here. I just want to see if what the article says, because I don't
Yeah.
know. It might say some extra stuff. Undergoes successful wrist surgery. Matthews is expected to need 6 weeks to recover from the procedure, which is
Okay.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What is 6 months from now? That's what I want to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, he'll be good to go by. He'll be good if my approximation, if my quick little check here is good. Around on the week of the 24th, that'll be 6 weeks. So he should
Okay.
be ready to go by then. But yeah, I don't think Toronto is good enough to compete with some of the teams above them. As simple as that. It's nothing against them. Number 3, the Boston Bruins. I like Boston's offseason. I think that they had
Mm-hmm.
a really good year. I still have a couple question marks. The Derek Forbort signing at 3x3 is questionable for me.
Mm-hmm.
About as questionable as the frizzes coming up from your hair right now. I think it's very
Oh
questionable.
well.
Welcome to Roastcast, in which I spend over
Mm-hmm.
an hour and a half just making fun of my so-called best friend. What a good friend I am. But yeah, I think Boston's better, but I think that there's just a couple questionable moves. Um, and I think
Mm-hmm.
the thing to look for them is defense. I think it's been that for a while. We'll see how that blue line holds up.
Okay.
At number 2, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay are a very good hockey team. However, we need to take it into effect that this is a team that's won 2 Stanley Cups in under a calendar year. By the beginning of the season, it still will have only been slightly over a year since they won their first of the 2 back-to-back Stanley Cups. This is a team
Yeah.
that has played a lot of extra hockey in
Yeah.
not a lot of time, even less than
Mm-hmm.
even less than like the Penguins when they went back to back. This is a
Yeah.
team that's tired, that's starting to run a bit low on energy. I think they'll still
Mm-hmm.
be good in the regular season, but to be a good regular season team, in a way, you kind of need to fail in the playoffs because it takes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
energy to be perfect as a
Yeah.
division winner is for all that time. Which means my top team in the division is the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
I love this team, and they just got even better. Coached by John Quenneville, the Florida Panthers have really turned things around. In
Yeah.
net, it's a bit of a question mark because you have to rely on Spencer Knight, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Spencer Knight is about to be phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I don't
That'd be
think
good to see.
I don't have any worries there. Aaron Ekblad, Mackenzie Weegar, and then a whole cast of other good depth defensemen there to help fill out that core.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of defensive talent to them. Very well. Like Bill Zito's done a good job at building this team through analytics,
Oh
which I think
yes.
really helped them. And then the forward core. I love it. Huberdeau, Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhage, Hornfist, Duclair, Sam Bennett, Nola
Oh.
Chari's there,
Oh.
Frank
Oh.
Vetrano.
Mm-hmm.
Just name after name. Like guys like Owen Tippett in their system.
Mm-hmm.
Grigory Denisko, a former first round pick of them. He looks like he could be
Yep.
a top 6 forward in the future. Their team is so damn good.
Yeah.
I think they have to finish first, and I also think I don't know if I will have them in the finals by the end of my predictions, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that they are a candidate to make the Stanley Cup Finals for me personally.
Okay.
That finishes our Eastern Conference predictions. Now, before we wrap it up, wrap it, the predictions up formally. Wild card teams. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll go first, just because I kind of already have it in mind. Um,
Okay.
with I think that the top wild card team in the Eastern Conference will be the Carolina Hurricanes. And I think the second wild card team will be the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay.
And just as a bit of an add-on, I think that the Leafs will only finish 1 point ahead of the New Jersey Devils. I think it's going to come
Wow.
down to the wire. Shades of 2017 Toronto. I think they're barely going to
Wow.
slide in. Like I said, I just think that this team is going to be a lot like the 2020 team, where it's like we think they're going to be good, but then they end up coming out and they just do not live up to the expectations.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
if this does happen, boy, Sheldon Keefe, that seat's getting warm, isn't it? It's getting pretty hot, getting really hot
Yeah.
actually. Um, so yeah, and I think that when it comes to like what the playoff matchups would be, I think Florida is going to win the Eastern Conference all around. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, and I'm not going to predict them, my playoff matchups would be Florida versus Toronto in the first round, Philadelphia, Carolina, the Islanders and the Penguins, and the Lightning and the Bruins. So a good set of matchups there, in my opinion.
Okay.
Bring some intrigue. Um,
Okay.
between your two division winners, who do you think is going to be better, the Tampa Bay Lightning or the New York Islanders?
Uh, like the Lightning will be better.
The Lightning will be better. All right. And who do you think the best wild card team is going to be? Do you think your number four in each division are the Pittsburgh Penguins and Florida Panthers? Which one of those two teams is going to be better?
It is gonna be the Florida Panthers by far.
All right. And then for your second wild card team, do you think the Pittsburgh Penguins will make it in as the second wild card team, or
Yes.
do you think the Montreal Canadiens will?
Well, because as you said before, like Pittsburgh has like always had like a very bad start and stuff, and then they pick it up about halfway close to like the end. So I think it'll be Pittsburgh.
All right. So your matchups would end up being a battle of Florida in Tampa Bay versus Florida.
Oh,
Or sorry, no, I got that wrong. I'm an idiot. Tampa Bay versus Pittsburgh, equally intriguing, mind you.
ooh.
Um, the Islanders taking on the Panthers, 2016 rematch. The Carolina Hurricanes versus the Washington Capitals, and the Boston Bruins taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yep.
Your favorite, your favorite image to see.
Mm.
You know, and I also will just say this. I was debating whether I think the Leafs would even make the playoffs or not. I just want to throw that out
Yeah.
there. Because I don't. They,
Yeah.
in Among Us terms, they're sus. They are very,
Yeah.
very suspect to me.
Yep.
All right. Other than that, I don't really think there's a lot more to talk about for the podcast. I mean, the NHL has pretty much announced their decision on the Olympics, which is they don't know yet, which is great. It's really great that they've announced that. Um, the schedule times got announced. Like, are we supposed to care about? Oh no, the Oilers game is being played at 10 o'clock instead of 9. Oh my goodness, this is so horrible. Um, and other stuff like that. So yeah, that's all for this week. Tune in next week to see another episode of the WarnerCast. We're going to be doing our Western Conference predictions, talking about other stuff coming our way. Colin will be asking me some trivia questions.
Yep.
Also, personally, from my end of the channel, I plan to release a video at some point within the next week talking about the Oilers' free agency moves and giving Ken Holland a review. So, for the people who are here to watch me and my face, which is not on screen, you'll be able to see my face again later this week. So, hopefully that gives you some solace. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast this week. We appreciate it. Colin, have anything you would like to say in closing?
Nothing. Just come by next week to see me ask Josh questions. I think that would be very interesting because I have no clue how I'm gonna like what the topic's gonna be. How Like, I just don't know. But
I can't wait to see what you pull out of your bag when it comes to hockey trivia for me. It's gonna
yeah,
be interesting.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't know.
all right, everyone, that's a show for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time. Goodbye for now.
Bye.